A husband notices his wife's hearing is deteriorating and decides to visit a doctor for advice. Please subscribe, like and leave a comment. Much love to you all. I can't speak to my wife directly as she might find it offensive. Given our old age, he says to the document. There's a simple trick you can try to determine her hearing, explains the doctor. Simply ask her a question at a distance, and if she doesn't hear you, move slightly closer and ask again until she does. That night, the husband arrives home and sees his wife in the kitchen cooking. He thinks to himself, what a perfect opportunity to test her hearing. He stands in the doorway of the kitchen and promptly asks, "What's for dinner, honey?" No answer. He moves closer. "What's for dinner, honey?" Still no answer. He moves even closer. "What's for dinner, honey?" Still his wife doesn't answer. He now sees how serious her hearing problem is. At this point, he is stood right next to his wife. "What's for dinner, honey?" For the fourth fucking time we are having chicken. I don't own this joke, but I haven't forgotten about it for 5 years. Long. Son, Dad, I have to do a special report for school. Can I ask you a question? Father, sure son. What's the question? Son, what is politics? Father, well, let's take our home for an example. I'm the wage earner, so let's call me capitalism. Your mother is the administrator of money, so we'll call her government. We take care of your need, so let's call you the people. We'll call the maid the working class, and your little brother we can call the future. Do you understand, son? Son, I'm not really sure, Dad. I'll have to think about it. That night, awakened by his brother's crying, the boy went to see what was wrong. Discovering that the baby had seriously soiled his diaper, the boy went to his parents' room and found his mother sound asleep. He went to the maid's room, where, peeking through the keyhole, he saw his father in bed with the maid. The boy's knocking went totally unheeded by his father and the maid, so the boy returned to his room and went back to sleep. The next morning he reported to his father. Son, Dad, now I think I understand what politics is. Father, good son. Can you explain it to me in your own words? Son, well Dad, while capitalism is screwing the working class, government is sound asleep, the people are being completely ignored, and the future is full of shit. Donald Trump was asked what the J in Donald J. Trump stood for. He said genius. Kung Fu student asks his teacher, "Master, why does my ability not improve? I'm always defeated." And the master, pensive and forever patient, answers, "My dear pupil, have you seen the gulls flying by the setting sun, and their wings seeming like flames?" "Yes, my master, I have." "And a waterfall, spilling mightily over the stones without taking anything out of its proper place?" "Yes, my master, I have witnessed it." "And the moon, when it touches the calm water, to reflect all its enormous beauty?" "Yes, my master, I have also seen this marvelous phenomenon." That is the problem. You keep watching all this shit instead of training. A Jewish man on the subway is reading an Arab newspaper. A friend of his, who happened to be riding in the same subway car, noticed this strange phenomenon. Very upset, he approached him. "Moshe, have you lost your mind? Why are you reading an Arab newspaper?" Moshe replied, "I used to read the Jewish newspaper, but what did I find? Jews being persecuted, Israel being attacked, Jews disappearing through assimilation and intermarriage, Jews living in poverty. So I switched to the Arab newspaper. Now what do I find? Jews own all the banks, Jews control the media, Jews are all rich and powerful, Jews rule the world. The news is so much better." I walked in from work today, and my wife was sitting on the sofa with my girlfriend. I said, "What's going on?" "You tell me," replied my wife. I said, "I don't know, you're sitting on the sofa with a stranger." "A stranger? Hey," shouted my girlfriend, "I'm no stranger, we've been having sex for 6 months." I looked at my wife and said, "Is this true?" A man goes to the doctor and says, "I've got a tapeworm. I've been to so many specialists and no one can seem to get rid of it." The doctor thinks for a few moments and says, "Okay, come back next week with a banana and a cookie." The man is confused, but, having been failed by every conventional treatment, goes home and returns a week later with a banana and a cookie. "Drop your pants and bend over the table," says the doctor. "What the hell are you doing?" The man asks. "Trust me," says the doctor. The man, a little distressed, does as he's asked. The doctor shoves the banana up his ass and then a couple of minutes later shoves the cookie up as well. Come back in a week with another banana and cookie. The man is unsure about the treatment, but, again, has tried everything else and wants to get rid of this tapeworm. The next week he returns with another banana and cookie. Drop your pants and bend over the table, says the doctor. After 3 weeks of this, the doctor says, okay, next week will be your final treatment. Bring me a banana and a hammer. The man comes back with the requested items. Drop your pants and bend over the table. Trembling, knowing what's coming, the man does as he's asked. The doctor shoves the banana up his ass and waits, and waits, and waits. Eventually, the tapeworm sticks its head out and yells, "Where's my cookie?" And the doctor smashes it with the hammer. A team of archaeologists were working in Jerusalem when they found a slab of rock with 5 figures carved on it. In order, the figures were a woman 2, a donkey 3, a shovel 4, a fish 5, a Star of David. After months of studying the rock and figures on it, the leader took the rock and went on a lecture tour. He said the carvings were several thousands of years old, but even so they revealed a lot about the people of that time. The woman being placed first in the line of figures indicated that women were held in very high esteem. It was most likely a family-oriented culture. The donkey indicated they had domesticated animals. They probably used the donkey to till the fields. The shovel shows they were highly intelligent as they knew how to make tools. The fish shows they knew how to augment the crops they raised by also reaping from the sea. The Star of David of course indicates they were a very religious group of people. A little old man in the front row finally got the attention of the speaker. When acknowledged, he said, "I'm sorry to harm your conclusions, but you were reading it left to right. In Hebrew we read from right to left. That way it reads. Holy mackerel, dig the ass on that woman." I just learned the medical name for Viagra. Mycoxaflopin. The stork is a bird that helps deliver babies. What bird helps prevent pregnancy? The swallow. What gets longer when pulled, fits between breasts, slides neatly into a hole, has choked people when used improperly, and works best when jerked? A seatbelt. My father told me that I'm in the 1%. He also mentioned that condoms work 99% of the time. Jesus is watching you. A burglar broke into a house one night. He shined his flashlight around, looking for valuables, when a voice in the dark said, "Jesus knows you're here." He nearly jumped out of his skin, clicked his flashlight off, and froze. When he heard nothing more, he shook his head and continued. Just as he pulled the stereo out, so he could disconnect the wires, clear as a bell he heard, "Jesus is watching you." Startled, he shined his light around frantically, looking for the source of the voice. Finally, in the corner of the room, his flashlight beam came to rest on a parrot. "Did you say that?" he hissed at the parrot. "Yes," the parrot confessed, then squawked, "I'm just trying to warn you that Jesus is watching you." The burglar relaxed. "Warn me, huh? Who in the world are you?" "Moses," replied the parrot. "Moses?" The burglar laughed. "What kind of people would name a bird Moses?" "The same kind of people who would name a pit bull Jesus." Why did Donald Trump take Xanax? For Hispanic attacks. I need to get a new chess set because all my pawns are damaged and sticky. I should have never left them in the same box as the bishops. Was asked in an interview if I could perform under pressure. I said I'm not sure, but I can definitely perform another one bites the dust. I remember being a kid and my parents filling my head with nonsense, like Santa, the Easter Bunny and the Tooth Fairy. Well, now that I'm older, I don't fall for that rubbish anymore, thank God. How many feminists does it take to change a light bulb? 1. Because men can be feminists too. Scottish dad calls his son in London the day before Christmas Eve. "I hate to ruin your day, but I have to tell you that your mother and I are divorcing." Long. 45 years of misery is enough, he continued. "Dad, what are you talking about?" The son screams. "We can't stand the sight of each other any longer," the father says. "We are sick of each other, and I'm sick of talking about this, so you call your sister in Leeds and tell her." Frantically, the son calls his sister, who explodes on the phone. Like hell they are getting divorced, she shouts. "I'll take care of this." She calls Scotland immediately and screams at her father, "You are not getting divorced. Don't do a single thing until I get there. I'm calling my brother back, and we'll both be there tomorrow." Until then, don't do a thing. Do you hear me? And hangs up. The old man hangs up his phone and turns to his wife. Sorted. They are coming for Christmas, and they are paying their own way. People get impressed when I tell them my home is designed by a famous Italian. Until I invite them home, and they realize I live in a Fiat.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more.